Hey everyone, and welcome to the Infinite Respawn Podcast. I'm Chicken.
I'm Grif.
I'm Baka.
What's up, guys?
So...
We're just gonna, trade people around. Baka's finally well and over his strep throat. Oak's out of town. We're just gonna, mix and match until, we can't.
What's ironic is we've done this show for so long, I can still hear him.
Yeah, I know. Every time somebody's missing, I'm like, okay, remember, because in my head I always hear all four of us. So...
Mm-hmm.
And now, because of how we're having to do this week, you guys can't actually see me, but everybody else can, which is nice because my camera's finally got everything the right way, all the text on my clothes and whatnot the right way. Yay!
Where on the recording are you sitting to me? Which way do I gotta look to look at you?
That way and up a little. Yeah,
so
close enough.
Okay, cool.
I'm across the screen from you.
You're way over there.
Yeah,
okay,
I don't think this matters. This is how it is when there's nobody here to corral us and tell us what to do.
You're supposed to corral us.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it for some reason.
It's a casual Sunday. It's really cold.
We weren't here last week, so it's yesterday was a really not great day for us. We have spent, the three of us have spent the last 24 hours trying to figure out why we cannot get an ARK server running. Because apparently we're just, I don't know, disconnected.
It's the ports problem. I've dealt with this for so many years, and I thought that we were done with this shit, but apparently it's still coming back. Because we used to have this problem whenever we'd play Killing Floor or Terraria or any of those other fucking
game. It was okay, we gotta go in, we gotta find the port settings for it. We gotta alter this. And we've hit a spot where it's we haven't had to mess with this in years. We just join game and here we go.
And now we're back to it.
But the problem with that for ARK is that if you host a dedicated server, let's just run through it. We were trying to play ARK. We were playing a little bit of ARK.
We wanted
but
to
the
introduce
problem
my
with playing
sister
it
to it because she's never played.
Yeah, and she loves it so far. So we want to play more. But unfortunately for the Game Pass and anything else, when you play a non-dedicated version, you're tethered to the host.
Oh, that was so hard. I was the host and people kept being like, Grif, you're too far away. Grif, don't move.
On PC, you only have 200 meters that you can move away from somebody, and that is terrible. I am not playing 200 meters around Grif for my whole entire ARK career. That ain't happening. On Game Pass, you got 400
trying
meters.
to chase down a dino and tame it. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
no.
It was a real pain, especially when there's three people that are in opposite directions of you, and all three are like, Grif, don't move, and I'm like, I'm just trying to go back to the base.
So the way it works if you don't want to do the tethered style is that you have to do a dedicated server. Now, you could do a dedicated server through the, on Game Pass, you do a dedicated server and your game runs the server, but you can't play on it unless you've got another PC to run it by itself. But on PC, you could start a dedicated server on its own, and that's what RAM is for. It runs the whole entire server as a program on its own. You don't have to touch it. You and your friends can join on that server and then play as free as you want because the whole entire server is running at 100% of the time. But the problem is that Grif is running it, and we're all trying to connect to Grif's network so that we can join in on our game. I could do it easily because we're literally on LAN, but the rest of them are having trouble connecting because of port problems and connection issues and shit like that. And firewall, it's just a lot of bullshit, and I'm trying my damnedest to get through it. I guarantee one of these days I'm just going to click something and it's going to be like, oh, cool, you're good. That's usually how it goes. You spend hours and hours doing shit, and then you're like, oh, and then it's fixed.
Oh, I see the problem. It was this thing. Yeah, so we've been trying to do
90% of the time I don't even know what the problem was. It was just fucking around with shit, and then eventually it's like, okay, good, now you're good to go. It's I don't even know what I changed.
After the show, we will be getting right back to it. So I imagine it's one of those things where, closer to the end of the show, we might seem like we're in a hurry, but it's just, it's eating at all of us. We all want it fixed. It doesn't even matter, what the actual problem is. It'll just be, one of those things that's irritating until it's taken care of. Oh.
Because we want to play ARK again. And we want to play ARK casually, too. On our own server.
Yeah.
Where we're all free to do whatever we want.
Those people are crazy.
Because, I mean, I've told them, too, like, if we get this server up and going, I'm just going to, like, because it's our own server, I'm just going to beeline off somewhere and make a little camp and whatnot and build up a little spot by myself because I can. The only 4 people on the server are us. So we can all separate and build up our own little bases and have a community area and things like this. Like, there's a lot of potential. It's just we got to get this shit fixed. Mm-hmm. And I will. I am a determined individual.
Yeah, the only thing that would suck about that is the points to put in to make things. Like
we can still share stuff. I made it so that we can all see each other on the map. So you can always see where each other's at.
Hopefully we'll get that up and going soon.
The saddle board to tools.
Yeah, so we'll get that. We will get it fixed. I promise it will fucking be fixed. Regardless, that has been the frustrating weekend that we've dealt with.
We did end up, because it was the 4 of us last night, I finally was like, We've got Divinity 2, let's just play that, and we've never played it with my sister. She's never played it at all, and Divinity is a lot like D&D, where if you're the one in the conversation, you make the choices and whatnot, and it's interesting to see, especially for me, to see how very different my sister and I make choices, because there's a choice early on, or a conversation early on, where it's like, okay, we want to get out, we're on this boat that's sinking, and it's like, these people are in this rowboat, and one person in the rowboat's like, we gotta go to save ourselves. And the other person in the rowboat's like, there's people down below that we should save. And you get to, kind of make a call on, do you go save those people or do you get on the boat and go? And for me, it's always, let me go save the people, because that's just how I am. My sister's like,
I think she picked the wrong option, to be honest.
She's like, let's get on the boat and go so we can save ourselves. Like... Just that, ideology of I want to save the people I know. I don't care so much about the people I don't. It's just insane to me.
Again, I think she made the wrong choice because she said that I wanted to save those people.
Oh, she said I wanted to save those people, but I cared more about saving us, is what she said. She thought that there was not an option, like we wouldn't have had the option to actually save them, so she was self-preservation trying to save her group because she didn't know, the others were a variable,
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's still fun. We just started. We were at the bare bones beginning.
Yeah, that game is super long. We're going to go back to it at some point, but we're probably going to try to play ARK first. I mean, after all this work, we're going to play ARK. Damn it. We're going to play ARK. I'm going to fix ARK. I don't know why it has to be such a problem.
Because life is a problem.
Yeah. But that was fun and interesting, and I'm kind of interested to see just what other choices she makes that are drastically different than the ones that I made. So, that's gonna be fun. Other than that, me personally, I played, a little bit of Cyberpunk. I have my Corpo run that I'm trying to get done, but I have so many other things happening right now that it's hard to actually go and do that. But I did do a mission last night that I obviously had done in a previous game, in which you are trying to infiltrate this area, and if you steal one of their trucks, in my first playthrough, you stole the truck, you just walked right in, you drove the truck in, you got out, they're like, oh, it's one of our delivery drivers, regardless how you're dressed, and you can just go about your mission without them bothering you. That, for some reason, I don't know which one's the glitched version, because this time I drove in, and then as soon as I got out of the van, they're like, she's here, kill her! I'm like, what? I'm just the delivery lady, what's going on? They were not having it. I had to sneak in after that. When I did that,
I snuck in.
I was like, why do they hate me all of a sudden? So I don't know which way is the one that's supposed to work that way and which one's the broken one.
I think that was broken. There must have been something that you did because one of the things says that you can grab a van and sneak your way in and use that to get in. So I think that the first time you did it, that's how it was supposed to go. So.
Well, they were not having it the second time. They were instantly angry the second I stepped out of the van. I
literally just walked in. I turned off the camera at the front gate. I went underneath the window. I came into that room with the guard, knocked him out, and I was in.
Yeah, but then you had to sneak around everything else.
It's so easy, though.
I ended up murdering a lot of people that time.
One ability breaks that fucking entire game.
What's that?
The blind game, the blind one where you can turn off their eyes, it breaks the game, especially if you get improved so it lasts 25 seconds. You literally just turn off their eyes and you walk in front of them.
Yeah.
All right, turn off your eyes, and I just walk right in front of them. And they're just
I'm still
like
playing.
they look at me and it's like, oh, it's you don't realize that you can't see for 25 seconds.
Like, I think I've mentioned it, but my first playthrough, I was playing, like, a relatively nice guy, and he was trying to, like, every time I had to take somebody out, I tried to do the takedown that didn't kill them, or I didn't want to get into firefights if I didn't have to, because he was trying to be, you know, the slightly better guy. But this lady is all about murder and mayhem, and I really enjoy Contagion. Because that's something that doesn't alert them right away to where you're at, but it makes them, like, get sick, essentially. And it passes to 3 people, or back and forth if there's only 2 people right there. And man, it takes a little while longer, but there's something about being able to stand out of the way and hear them start yelling at you, because they don't know where you're at. They're like, come out, what are you, afraid? Are you a 5-year-old? Stop playing. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not the one puking all over myself till I die. Also, here's overheat. I'm gonna set you on fire, too. Like, this lady is a bad lady, but it's been a lot of fun. Oh, man. What have y'all been playing? Nothing.
WoW?
WoW. I finished Bloodstain.
Again?
Nice.
Because I didn't say that I got to finish it beforehand.
Maybe I'm thinking about Chicken.
Yeah, I finished it.
Yeah, Chicken finished it. Then I finished it and I was out because I was sick.
Mm.
Did you enjoy it all the way through? Did you like the way that you had to find the way into the second half, like the end game part of it, where you had to use the special the weapon to fight during the final boss?
Because I went back after I got the sword and fought him again, and I killed him again, and I was like, well shit. But I noticed the moon turned red. I was like,
yeah.
Okay. So I went back, and as soon as it turned red, I hit that instead.
Yep. That's the same thing I did too. I was like, there's got to be something I'm fucking missing. And as the game was finishing out, I saw that the moon was a different color. I was like, okay, so that must be something. So I tried to hit it, and lo and behold, there's the way to advance the story.
But I got 100% of the map and I explored.
99.8. I couldn't find the last 0.2%. I bet it was Did you get all the secret walls? Okay, that's where the last 2% is then.
The secret walls?
0.2%. Yeah, there are secret walls all through the dungeon
There's secret
and whatnot.
walls, ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually one room at one point I forgot to go in. It's where the sand comes down. I guess I didn't notice it, but there's a room hidden as it's pouring down.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I was going back to look for everything. So yeah, there's only 3 endings to the game, and we saw all 3 of them.
Nice.
Well, congratulations.
Game is super good. Highly recommended if you like platformers, and I guarantee Baka can attest to that too. This game was really well made.
I'm glad you guys enjoy platformers.
There's a second one out, but it looks to be a prequel, actually.
That is so popular to make the second game's prequels.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I need to reinstall it because I uninstalled it, but I forgot when you start the game, you have an option of who you want to play as. It says to play as the girl for the first time through, and then you can play as the guy as the second time through. I forgot that you got the choice at the beginning, so I'm going to go back and play through as the guy.
They have different playstyles or stories or something?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have incredibly different playstyles, so because it's more for advanced players. So I completely forgot about it until Baka just said something, and I was like, oh, that's right, you have 2 characters you can choose from.
I may have to go back and try it, I think.
Yeah, definitely going to go back and try it.
You guys could, race each other, start at the same time and see who wins.
I don't want to smoke them, though.
That's rude.
Chicken might get through it faster, but I'll complete more than 8.
Oh, come on. You're going to fucking not let me live down for 0.2%? All right, motherfucker. We're going to do this then.
Well.
Yeah, I watch a lot of speedrunners, so I get, like, speedrun ideas in my head and whatnot. Like,
I didn't use, like, any... Like, I figured everything out on my own, as far as...
Well, I mean, I did too, but it's like whenever you're just traveling around, I always put on the ninja boots and whatnot and dash, and because you could dash through just about all enemies because the boots do so much fucking damage, and you can bounce on them and do a shitload of damage too with your boots, and drop kicking them. Like if you just use your boots for travel, you can fly through it and kill just about anything. So and then because I put them on my hotkey.
I had a belt for speed, and then I borrowed one of the books for more movement speed.
Yeah, you can upgrade some pretty serious boots to bring in some serious damage. And since your slide does damage, you can just slide through everything. And for certain parts, you can dash down and like cut off a bunch of travel time and just hit ones and slide through. Like I said, I get this speedrunner mentality where I try to figure out the most efficient way through things.
I just had fun with the purple lightsaber through most of the game until I got the broken ass weapon.
The fucking super speed sword.
Yeah, like the other things might hit harder and give you bigger numbers, but the speed at which the other one attacks, it doesn't matter.
It's very comparable. Like the DPS on that, because you gotta break it down by DPS style. That one swings really fast, really low damage, and its DPS is pretty damn high. The blue rose, which is the sword, has a slower attack speed than that one, but it hits a lot harder, and the DPS is about the same. And then you have the Shroudbringer, I think it is. Not the Shroud. It's a big giant two-handed sword. It's slower, but goddamn, that thing hits fucking hard. And if you're really, really clever, you can, which I didn't know, but you can do the invert thing and get on the ceiling for some bosses, and then just do the overhead attack with the big sword, and they can't hit you because they're on the ceiling. And whenever they jump, because your sword has such a big cleave, you can hit them as they're trying to attack you. So, like I said, speedrunner strats, man. You dissect the game in such a way that you figure out what works and what doesn't. So this different mentality that I've gotten as I've gotten older. Hey, it works. I beat the game. This shit was a ton of fun figuring out how the game mechanics work and all that. Like they made a fucking great game, hands down.
Oh, I'm glad that you've both enjoyed it so very, very much.
Absolutely.
Did you guys play anything else, or do you want to talk about news?
I didn't play much.
Other than that, I'll just make some carrying cases or miniatures with magnets.
Well, that sounds fun and productive. Way more productive than the rest of us.
We're raising a child. I think we're being quite productive.
I guess.
It's like the paper plastic container things. And, there's bendable magnets you put on for fridge magnets.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little bit more of those glued to the bottom. And then I just put magnets on the bottom of the bases of the miniatures.
Stick them in.
Hey, that's fucking clever. Makes it so that they don't just rock and shake.
Somebody's about to steal your idea.
For a small little case.
Yeah, bro, that is a fucking patented idea right there.
Yeah, $8 for the case. Like another $10 for 100 magnets.
I mean, you could probably get away with a piece of sheet metal, just cutting it to the size and then putting it at the bottom, and then putting that on the bottom of that thing, and then just putting the magnets.
Oh, now you
minis
turned
on
them
there,
into
and then
crafts.
Done,
They're all. This is it. This is the end of the show. It's all just
I mean,
crafts
it's a
from here on
super
out.
fucking good idea. That's a crazy good idea to keep your minis, because I guarantee there are a lot of people out there that are like,
I don't have an effective way to cut sheet metal. I don't have an effective tool for it, so the rubber magnet pad things are already close to the size that I need for this anyway. And it was like $20 for a box of like 25 of them.
That's not bad.
So
Hell yeah, that's
and
a
all
really good
that
idea.
is still cheaper than what it would be to buy a friggin' case that would hold less miniatures.
Yeah. See, there's that right there is engineering. Figuring out a cheaper way to do something even better, because trust me, being able to do that and have all of your minis always like just stuck down without having to worry about them shaking and whatnot. Yeah, because even inside those
they
boxes
still
and whatnot,
a little bit if you shake it too hard, but
I don't think anybody's gonna be.
Around, they're fun. I did have to sandpaper the top a little bit because the stuff was so like shiny and new. Like they still slid, so like I really roughed it up with sandpaper a little bit, and they're fine.
Nice.
I mean, I guess that kind of segues into some of the news. There's another company that's been slightly crafty. D-Brand is making replacement PS5 plates and has told Sony to go ahead and sue us, which I guess is kind of bold. Basically, it looks like they're selling like a darker colored plate instead of the white ones. And first of all, congratulations if you have your PS5 already. I mean, kudos to you. But if you need replacement plates, these guys are selling them for $50 plus shipping. They're a matte black, and I mean they look nice and everything. But apparently they feel as though they have enough legal standing to make these without being worried about Sony. Because Sony's been pretty aggressive about stopping people from making their own. I guess because Sony has plans to sell them and just hasn't gotten around to it yet. Or has Sony actually sold them? Are they selling them yet? Sony needs to be focused right now on just making more PS5s. Worry about that stuff later.
They will get sued. I guarantee it.
Sony is one of those. Sue, but the question is, would they actually win?
Yeah.
Yes. Sony has big lawyers, and they've already have a history of shutting down things like this. Yeah. So they do have a case to present. They're like, hey, I don't know what they would have that would be different from the other companies they've shut down in order to stop from being shut down. But I don't see it. I mean, you're infringing on their design, and it's their design. I guarantee they patented it. So without a good go-ahead from Sony, they're going to get shut down 100%. I have no doubt.
I mean,
as long as they're not putting like the PlayStation logo on it, or
they're using the old school PlayStation button symbols, like the triangle and the X and the square and all of that, in the textured part of it. So I don't know legally how that works either. I mean, they're saying that it's fully legal.
Cool.
So.
Yeah.
Well, Sony can't trademark shapes.
You'd be surprised on what people could trademark.
Well, they're on sale now, which they weren't before. Like, this is apparently last month is when they were like, you can sue us, but they didn't have them in production at that point for sale, and now they are for sale. So I guess we're gonna see now that they're actually on the market and being made, whether or not Sony actually does anything about it. So
we'll keep up to date with this and watch it.
Their own lawsuit, so.
Yeah. I mean, Sony's also being sued currently from a class action lawsuit because of the drift on the controllers.
The Joy-Con drifting. Oh, sorry, the Sony controller drifting.
I feel like Nintendo has had this issue too. Like, I feel like there's been a recent announcement about a class action on them for the drift.
In EU, they actually have a case. And they are being taken to court because of the broken technology that they are selling. You cannot sell technology that is knowingly broken. Cannot.
I mean,
Nintendo does not fix. Is not fixing.
Nintendo's is broken though. Like, knew it was broken.
Yes, because the first generation Nintendo Joy-Cons have drifted. They have received several thousand complaints about it.
Yes,
they refuse to fix it.
One of them.
The next generation is still having drift problems. They are selling a broken technology because it's not working like advertised. We have a drifting Joy-Con, and it is the worst fucking thing in the world.
Trying to play Overcooked with that is like impossible.
Yeah, where your character literally just starts wandering off. It's like, no.
Recalibrate it?
Yes, it's just because the joystick just eventually just leans.
Starts to lean, yeah.
Like,
which I kind of think might be a similar thing.
It's probably
to
a spring or something,
one.
or pin or something just loosens after a while.
The stick. That's what I did on mine.
Yeah, I mean, but then you're eventually going to run into the same problem where it just starts drifting again, or the other one starts drifting. And they're being so slow with fixing it, too.
The 64 controllers did the same thing, though.
Yes, they did.
It's the same thing. It's just like with mine. When they start doing that, just replace them.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
to be fair,
it's one thing
the
to be like,
64...
just replace it, but then you're spending money on the same company that's selling you a broken product. It's just gonna be a month or so before it's broken.
No, not replace the whole controller. Just that piece.
Yeah, just the thing. But to be fair, the one with the 64 was a very, very poor design. You remember, it's like a big thing on the top, and then this really skinny stick that just this little tiny piece that it's connected to into the controller. And you know us gamers, we hard on controllers, and that thing, I remember mine got so loose.
It must be because of the spring moved out of place.
Yeah. I was rough on that thing, especially playing Mario Party, spinning that controller as hard as I could. Oof. It definitely was loose in all directions. You had to push it all the way one way or the other. It was not very sensitive. But like I said, I'm hard on controllers.
That's actually how I learned how to start opening controllers and then fixing them.
Oh, nice. Started old school.
Because I was trying to play Smash Brothers and kept messing up. And I got pissed.
This one specifically is a Sony case, and it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. Basically, they're arguing that they ended up having to buy a new controller and then another new one right after because of the drift, and had they known that this was going to be a recurring problem, they would not have bought the PS5 to start with, or would have paid significantly less for it, which I imagine a lot of people are in similar boats. If you're having to replace a controller that quickly. I mean, this dude bought a PS5 on February 5th this year and had drift out of the box, essentially, and then had to buy a new controller a few days later. Like, how is that even a thing that should be happening?
That should be covered by the warranty.
It should be, but I mean, it shouldn't happen, is I think what they're trying to get at, which I don't disagree with, but you know, we're a generation that likes to go to court about things. And it does. Well, if it's a big problem, then it does need to be taken to task. I mean...
It's because we want, when we buy something, when we spend and invest in something, we want it to work. And most of us are completely fine, too. We're like, hey, we get it. First generation. Some things happen. The Joy-Cons drift.
Unfortunately, the reason why we like to go to court over things is because... otherwise, nothing fucking happens unless we take them to court.
Well, yeah, that's
exactly
true. It's kind of like how big of a deal do you want to make out of it?
And then the companies will be like, oh, hold on, okay, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it should be just a matter of taking it back and being like, this was broken out of the box and I want to exchange it, and being done with it. But if it's one of those things where it's like that's happening, you know, even 5 out of 10 consoles where it's broken out of the box, then it's a big enough problem that Sony should be addressing it.
Yes.
And I mean...
And we're fine. Like, hey, if you were like, okay, the Joy-Cons were having a problem, or the PlayStation 5 controllers were having a problem, we have fixed that in the next generation. We're sorry. Send yours back. We'll replace it. This shouldn't be a problem anymore.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Good PR for your company. We love you a little more, but fix your problems. I mean, that's just as simple as it comes. Just fix your technology. Nintendo, I get it. You're pushing. You're probably already on like the Nintendo Super Switch Pro or the Super Switch. I think that's what they're going to call it, the Super Switch, because you know
it'll be the Switch 64.
Yeah, the Switch 64. We're going back to 64 bits.
The Switch Cube.
No, stop it! Stop giving them bad ideas.
It comes like the Switch comes in like a cube form.
No.
You can play 4 different games at the same time.
That's stupid. Stop it. No, who would even need that? Nobody is doing that. Oh my god. I mean, I guess great segue on accident, because that's a really bad idea. You know what else is a bad idea? The casting for Borderlands. We have more casting for this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is signed up to play Tannis, and Jack Black is gonna be freaking Claptrap. Okay, so when is this movie set? Tannis is in her 30s. Jamie Lee Curtis is, what, 60? I mean, and don't get me wrong, she's a phenomenal actress, and I really like her. But you've got Roland and Lilith, who are still around and kicking. But one of them is Kevin Hart, and the other's Cate Blanchett, and that's weird enough.
And Lilith is much older than her, like, the actor...
Is much older than Lilith, too, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what time period they're
can't
going
be like,
with. It's like we've got older characters,
20 years after Borderlands 2. It's like, no, but Borderlands 3 killed off some people. Borderlands 2 killed off some people, and you're casting these folks anyway. When is this game set? What is going on? Like, it sounds to me like they really don't care at all about the game, anything to do with the game itself. They want the Borderlands name, and then they're going to do whatever they want with it after that, which honestly, they have to hire The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson for Brick, and it's over.
Where the video game lore doesn't matter, and they don't give a shit.
I mean, it's just, here's what they're going to do. They hire The Rock, and then they turn it into Jumanji 4. The game has evolved again, and has now adapted itself into, you know, a current day title that people are already playing, so here we go. Because, I mean, seriously, all they did was not cast the right lady, and it would have been exactly the same cast. I just don't understand. Also, I like Jack Black, but I don't like him as Claptrap. I don't like that idea at all. I mean, you can get away with Claptrap's actor looking like anything because you're going to see the CGI Claptrap, most likely. I would hope. But
they're going to hire The Rock to play Handsome Jack.
That doesn't make any sense. Stop it.
Oh, right. Everything else does, though.
None of this makes sense.
Everything else makes sense except for that.
This movie hasn't even hit production yet, and I already hate it. Like, I just... wear my Hyperion hoodie today and everything. I just
have been Grif.
Hey, Sonic was really good.
Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
Okay, the first Silent Hill movie was not terrible, but it really didn't necessarily sync up.
But it had nothing to do with the games other than really the name.
Yeah, which I give it credit for because the first Silent Hill movie was actually enjoyable. Like, I mean, all it was you know, Silent Hill, a story inside of Silent Hill, and the CG, or I guess the monsters and everything, and like, you hear that siren and you're just like, oh shit, it's going, and then you hear the fucking dragging and you're like, uh-oh, he coming for you, he coming.
I mean, that one wasn't terrible, but
Monster Hunter, look at
that one's gonna be terrible.
Never heard of it.
That one.
These people get sucked into a world, and you know, there's giant monsters, and they're driving around in a truck and shooting it, and it's like, what the fuck does this have to do with the world of Monster Hunter?
It's a movie that they picked up that Mila Jovovich's husband is directing so that he can put his wife in another badass female lead role, which is just... I
cannot wait
her
for
husband's the same idiot that makes all these bad video game movies, because where they film most of them, if the movie does bad, they get more money.
Oh, that's Yui Bowl. He's not the one that's doing the Borderlands movie, though.
No, he talks to companies for them.
But I am interested in Netflix's Resident Evil reboot. Like, I want to see. I want to see where they're going with the story, because they hired. Because I know they got Leon and Claire, and if I'm not mistaken, Chris and Jill, and I'm not entirely sure where that story is supposed to go, because those four are in two different stories. So, but I want an actual good Resident Evil canon movie. Please.
Well,
thank you.
The Borderlands movie was not the only thing to announce casting this week, or in the last couple of weeks. The HBO series for The Last of Us has cast their Joel and Ellie. It'll be Pedro Pascal will play Joel, and Bella Ramsey will play Ellie. Bella Ramsey, I think, was in Game of Thrones, right, Chicken? Is that what you said?
Yes, she was. She was Lyanna Mormont. Everybody liked her. She was super badass. Granted, she was very one-dimensional style, but she played her role really well, especially among a cast of much older people. She was able to hold her own and stand out in it. So that's really big. But we will be able to see if she can adapt her acting style to it. Like, she's young. We're all old here now, okay? Get it? We are old. We do not know these younger actors yet. We've grown up with a whole different set of actors. So, you know, when we're really old, she's going to be, if she's really good, she's going to be one of the super popular actors. So we're watching the new generation of actors kind of get into it and start growing up with it. So we'll see how she does. I mean,
I think that the casting on that one's, like, I think it's all right. I don't really have a problem with it or anything. I had people that I would have picked out, but I think the cast that they've picked is not something so far removed from what I thought it should be that I have a problem with it. I don't. I think it's going to be okay.
I would agree with that. I think Pedro Pascal is okay for a Joel. My first choice would be Nikolaj, which is Jaime Lannister from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he would.
There are just some shots of him that are like perfect 1-to-1 for Joel. He's got the much more chiseled face. He's a little bit bulkier. He looks very gruff and whatnot like that.
Yeah.
That I think would be perfect for Joel. But I'm gonna let them handle it. They're the professionals. We'll see how this goes. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a series, right?
Yeah.
It's a show.
Yeah, it's a show. So it's gonna be episodic.
So we'll see how it goes. I'm definitely interested. HBO is known to drop big monies, so we'll see where we go.
Yeah. I do wonder if they plan to do both games. Like if the first season is successful, they'll go ahead and do. And I wonder if the first season will cover the whole first game.
I think they're gonna do an alternate universe. If I had to guess, they are gonna do an alternate universe.
I mean, that'd be weird and kind of dumb to go completely apart from the game, though. Because then why even use the Last of Us name? Why not just go ahead and make your own apocalyptic,
Because they want
rando.
to use the characters from it and show you a different universe.
I don't know.
Also money.
I mean, money, yeah, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to go too far. I don't think they're going to depart much from the game storyline itself, because the game told a great story, and to make that more accessible to people that don't play games, I mean, I think they'd only benefit from that. And I think trying to take it in an alternate universe is gonna turn off a lot of your people that loved the game.
I know this is sacrilege, but I didn't play The Last of Us. I know Grif has played a lot of it. From the opening cinematic to the start of the game, is it 20 years?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I think it's 20. It's definitely quite a time jump from the first 15 minutes of the game to everything else.
Okay.
Because you have this significant change. Basically, you see the very beginning, and then and if you're saying that they're going to go right from the beginning instead of taking that time jump, they would not have cast Ellie. I mean, you just wouldn't have, based on the lore around that character, you wouldn't have that kind of knowledge at that point. So I don't think they could do that. I don't think you could basically be like, well, we're just not going to do the time skip, and 15 minutes after what happened in the first 15 minutes of the game is where the show picks up. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that would be incredibly stupid. And I think if they wanted to do a prequel, it'd be great, but you'd be casting Joel and Tess, not Joel and Ellie. Because I would watch the crap out of that. I love Tess. But that's just me. I'd be fine with a prequel where they filled in that 20-year gap and we got to see how Joel and Tess ended up rolling together. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to figure out, like, I know the timeline, because it says 20 years, so I guess Ellie was born right after, or I guess 6 years after the world collapsed.
Yeah, because Ellie's a teenager by the time that Joel meets her.
She's 14, and then she's
teenager.
19.
I mean, that's just...
Yes. What it says is she was born in 2019. And I don't know what the timeline is for in The Last of Us. 2033? Which I think that it just said right there. Events. Yeah. Summer of 2033. Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
She is currently 2.
Thanks for that math.
Yeah, she is 2 right now. Get ready, the world's gonna end. So we'll see how they want to play this and whatnot. They will do their own spin, I guarantee it. It is not going to be a play-by-play.
Oh, it probably won't be a play-by-play,
not...
but I really don't think that they should or could depart that far from the storyline that's already been set forth.
You will be surprised on what HBO Max does. Like, they change things in order for TV intrigue, like they did with Game of Thrones and whatnot. Mm-hmm. There were some variations and whatnot, but they did follow pretty closely with the books at the beginning part, and then they literally just
Castlevania.
What?
Yeah.
There's different things in the storyline of Castlevania.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not arguing that they're gonna go a 1-for-1 shot, guys. I'm just saying I don't think they're going to be like, all right, trash that whole idea. We're going to go in a completely different direction.
I mean,
like, that's what I'm saying.
They'll
stick pretty close to the story and change some of the details so that it, yes, you're right, fits TV intrigue, because some of those things that are written into the game are written for you to experience them as the player, because you have direct agency over it versus, you know, it would read a little differently watching a movie or a TV show about it, because you are a little more removed in that role than you are with a game where you are the direct helm, essentially, with the game. So yeah, they're probably going to change a few details and whatnot, but they're not going to be like, let's just throw this away and say that there's totally different stuff happening right here, and it wouldn't, nobody would watch it.
Yeah, I just find it like interesting because in the game you do have a few choices on how you want to approach things. And the headcanon of who Joel and Ellie is just kind of what you decide as you go through.
But that would be decided for you because it is a show.
Exactly. This doesn't give you the option.
No.
This is going to be, in this canon verse, these are how these people are. So it's... And people are going to not like it regardless of how well it is. They're going to be like, that was terrible. Joel wouldn't do that. And, you know, it's just...
My Joel wouldn't do that. It's like, well, my Joel had a hard time, you know, throwing bottles in the right direction sometimes. So I'm fine with it if he's better at it than I am. You know? Or I'm going to stab this guy. Nope, just smashed him in the face with a brick instead. Just kidding.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes for sure.
Yeah. That's going to be interesting. I wish there was a better thing to have segued. Because you did really, you guys accidentally did really well earlier.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick, Chicken. What do you want to talk about next?
I'm just gonna throw this one out there real quick. I'm sure people, anybody who watches commercials anymore, and because people are shitty, McDonald's is doing a Pokemon card thing, which I think Burger King did like 20 years ago. Ugh. God,
they had the little Pokemon gold.
Burger King did
thingies.
like years ago when we were little. They had the gold-plated cards. The kids meal also had, I think, some no. They didn't do cards. They had actual toys. Cause
they were
still
little.
Have the toys.
Yeah.
But the toys, I think, came with a card, because I had a couple of cards and I never collected them.
Yeah, I've got a couple of the cards.
Later through the years, McDonald's has done the Pokemon cards, and this is not the first time they've done it multiple times, because I have.
It is the first time, however, that there's been a mass problem with people going and buying the stupid Happy Meals just to get the cards, and then, like, basically throwing the food away because they have every intention of just selling the cards.
Yeah. That is
first
so
time
fucking
McDonald's
shitty.
did the cards, people did. I don't know if they threw the food away or not, but I know people were taking the cards and selling them online because they were like, oh, these will be worth tons of money. That people, these things are not going to be worth a bunch of money because McDonald's prints them like fucking paper. They have no real value to them. The only reason probably the scalpers are doing this is because right now there's been a thing because of streamers online opening boxes of Pokemon cards. They think that, oh, well, I can get a ton of money for these.
There's a resurgence in popularity because of that. So, yes, there is money to be made in Pokemon right now. But it is one of those situations where it's like, this is probably not long-term money, to be honest. This is right now money, and if you don't get on it, then you're going to be stuck with a bunch of Pokemon cards that you didn't want that literally could have gone to kids that did want them. And some of them,
and that's the shitty part, is that people go there, buy all the fucking Pokemon cards, and then throw away the food, and like stockpile these, and then when we take our kid there, and he's like, oh yay, get Pokemon cards, they're like, sorry, we're sold out, because fucking shitty people.
Well, and some of them are being, some of the boxes of the cards that are supposed to be in the restaurants to go in those Happy Meals are just being, the boxes are being sold, which means employees are just straight unloading trucks of these boxes, and then turning around and posting the boxes for sale. So they're not even making it in, which is also pretty shitty.
The internet brings some bad parts out in people.
That'll get someone fired.
Yeah, I mean, if they figure out who it is, I hope that your job was worth the $1,000 that you're trying to sell a box of unopened McDonald's Pokemon cards for.
Yeah.
It's probably more money than what they're getting paid per month.
You're probably not wrong.
I think that sucks, especially when it's something that, like, it sucks when there's a scalper situation in any situation, but when it's a scalper situation in which, you know, kids are the ones that are kind of being not necessarily hurt. Like, your kid's not going to die from not getting a toy in the McDonald's Happy Meal, but it is one of those things where it's like, well, it's such a small little thing to take away from a kid. Why you got to be like that? Why you got to be like that? Oh, that's so stupid. So dumb.
I agree. Well, on the news of shitty people, CD Projekt Red has been attacked severely.
Yes. It's been an ongoing thing, and we're just now getting to talk about it because we didn't have a show last week, so it's a lot of updates and everything.
So what happened is that a foreign entity entered their systems and collected all the data belonging to CD Projekt Red, and some of its devices had been encrypted by the attack. So basically what that means is if they did not completely reset their servers, completely back up their servers, anything they did could be watched and used by the people who hacked their systems, because there was a virus inside of their systems. So they basically had to back up everything to a previous state, which if you've been playing on your computer or doing anything online for a few years, you've done this at least once. I have twice.
I mean, they have off-site backups, which is one of the things they said, that they weren't interested in paying the ransom because they did have backups of everything, and that, I mean, it sucks, but they were going to be able to move forward from there without negotiating with the people that stole it, which, by the way, one of the phrases in the note was epically pwned. It's 2021, y'all. I mean, really. Are you watching, like, hacker movies from the 90s that you got this note from? What?
Like I said, they do that shit on purpose so that they can keep the view of being dumb and childlike, but they are not, because they went into those systems and they knew exactly how to decipher everything and take what they want, and they took everything. They took the source codes from Cyberpunk, from Witcher, Gwent, and even the unreleased version of The Witcher 3. They also took all the documents related to accounting, administration, legal, HR, investor relations, and everything. Basically, every single thing that CD Projekt had on their systems was stolen.
Yep, and then it got sold. It got sold in an auction on the dark web for thousands of dollars.
I mean, it's not like you can use any of that coding, though.
I mean, you could. It just depends on
whether or
not you want to get smart.
Because, I mean, you can't. You try to use that code to build a game or something, CD Projekt Red is going to be like... Or even if you build the game and it's completely hidden, people don't know it, somebody playing that game is going to break into the code just to fuck around, because that's what everybody does these days. They're going to be like, hey, this looks like CD Projekt Red's code. And they're going to be like, hey, this looks suspicious. And they're going to send it over. They're going to look at it. They're going to be like, yeah, that's our code. And then that company's going to be fucking destroyed. Because buying a source code illegally.
Yeah.
Highly illegally.
I will say, though, for the people that were like, this is what you get for releasing such a shitty game because you're mad about Cyberpunk, man, fuck you. That's stupid. Okay, first of all, they needed to delay the game. They should have delayed the game some more. They did delay it, and then everybody whined about it being delayed. I want it now. It's probably ready enough. Just give it to me. So they gave it to you, and it's broken. And then, oh my god, it's the end of the world. Clutch them pearls a little tighter, because it's broken, which they told you, and you demanded they give it to you anyway. You can't have it both ways. I mean, it's not magic. I don't know why you people think game design and game development is magic. I'm baffled. I'm baffled by folks.
You mean they don't just draw the pictures and everything's fine?
Yeah, I mean, for some reason, it's like, oh no, they deserve this. All of the systems that they left out of it, let me, get my little grip on my pearls here so that I can be upset because they lied to me. So they deserved it. I hate you people. I hate you people. I hate people.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a really shitty thing to do, though. And CD Projekt Red does have backups. I mean, I'm not saying that any game company is a great company, and all. We know that they've been not so great to some of their employees as far as crunch time and everything goes and all of that, but it's still one of those situations where this is not the repercussion proportionate to, the crime, I guess. That all needs to be handled elsewhere, not necessarily by the epic hacker man that wrote that he epically pwned them.
Oh, it's so sad that we can't see Grif being so excited about Hacker Man. We just gotta look at this terrible picture of Grif.
You can watch the video later like everybody else.
No.
You just don't want to see yourself.
No, I don't like myself. I have to look at
dumb.
myself the whole time.
It's dumb. People are dumb. Things are happening. The source code's been sold. I mean, we'll see what shakes out after that. Although, from what I understand, and this wasn't in, I don't think it was in the Zero Gamer article that we used, one of the caveats of that sell is that the source code would never be released onto the internet. So I'm kind of wondering if CD Projekt Red brought it back themselves. Like, okay, send somebody to the dark web. We didn't want to negotiate as far as their ransom goes. Which, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they were asking for as far as the ransom goes and whether or not it sold for less than that. So I don't know really how that's going to go. But, yes, it will apparently never be seen on the internet as per the sell. So
yeah, we'll see.
We will.
I don't think that those folks are the most trusted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I just thought it was an interesting note that was in the buyers, stuff. Oh man, well, something that will make you and Baka a little happier is that Chivalry 2, which is a game that I do not play, but you guys seem to enjoy, launches in June this year.
Oh, you remember playing Chivalry back in the day? Yes. Chivalry 2, it's June 2nd?
Maybe 8th, June 8th.
June 8th. Oh, great. Another fucking game coming out in June. Let me just add that to my list.
Oh, no! You won't get to play it until next year. Did you not read it? The PC version is exclusive to the Epic Store until a year after where it'll launch on Steam. So you guys will be playing it in June of 2022, so don't worry about it, chicken. Got a while.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine. After a year, it'll launch on Steam.
I'm so sick of the Epic Store exclusive bullshit, because it is. It's bullshittery.
It's because they cannot compete in a fair market. So Epic has to do whatever they can to try to get, like, they give away games like candy. They fucking buy up as many exclusives as they can, so to try to draw as many people. Like, all that is just phone numbers. It's just like Fortnite. Those are phone numbers, and eventually it will just die away. Yep. Steam is solid. They are constantly breaking records, like, constantly. I guarantee there's a game that got released this I think just last week. It's called Valheim. It's super popular. Like, I mean, it came out, and if this ARK thing doesn't work, I fucking promise you we'd be playing Valheim. But it is super popular, and if that game would have released on Epic Store, nowhere near the explosive popularity that it has picked up. Because damn, is that game good. Really good. I think it sold over 1 million copies in the first week. And it's in early access and made by a small indie company. But it runs really well. It has very few bugs, and it's got a ton of features. And people fucking love it.
I mean,
Epic can go ahead and keep giving games away and doing terrible discounts and buying exclusives and artificially boosting their numbers. But when it comes down to it, good luck. You still don't have a fucking shopping cart.
Dude, I thought they did have a shopping cart.
I think they do have a shopping cart, but that's a meme.
They don't have,
and
like,
that meme
friends
will live on
lists
forever.
and game reviews and things like that yet, though.
Still no game reviews. One of the most critical things of buying games in a digital store, they do not have reviews.
Yeah.
Let me confirm that for you. Does Epic Game Store have reviews? Of course. The Epic integrated open critic reviews, so shoppers can see which titles come recommended by the review aggregator.
So it's critic reviews. It's not actually like people that play the reviews.
And it's outsourced.
Of course it is, because they can't do anything in-house.
Oh my god.
I really still don't like Epic. Like, sorry.
I do not have Epic on my computer. They could have given me 1,000 games and I still wouldn't install it. It's just
I mean, technically they have given
thing.
a bunch of free games. They give new games every month or something like that, and it's like it's not enough incentive for me to justify or condone the other behavior, and installing it condones it. So I mean,
if I had a penny for every time I saw somebody say that they have so many free games on Steam that they don't use, I could buy the Epic Game Store. Seriously, I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh, I've got my Epic Games library is just filled with free games, but I don't play any of them." It's like people just collect the games and then do nothing with them. It's like, okay, so Epic is just losing money
in case they decide to play them.
I mean, that's the same thing with Steam. We buy a shitload of games on sale and then never play them.
That's not true. I've played most of mine.
I don't need 2 libraries that full. I'm good with just Steam. It's simple. It's super good. Lots of features. So I'm happy with it.
Well, as far as the news goes, that's really it. I guess now we can go forth and get back to our ARK server solving party that we're having. Luckily, I have enough Skyrim recorded that I can take this week off and it be okay, which I know my Skyrim stuff has been slow lately. It's because a lot's been going on in the evenings, and by the time I'm like, okay, it's time to upload a video, I'm so tired that thought does not occur. So I just end up walking away from it. The next day I'm like, no, I forgot. So that's my fault. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be better about it. 2 videos went up within the past, 3 or 4 days, so you have 2 more episodes to watch if you haven't caught up yet. I tried to make them shorter, and then there's a 42-minute video. I tried.
Let me make them shorter, an hour long.
I tried, and I got really wrapped up in what was happening. And I wasn't even looking at the time. That's one of the things that games do to you, I guess, is sometimes you're just so, invested that you forget. And it's not the only one. There's another one that will come out in probably, 3 or 4 videos time, where I got super wrapped up. I was trying to solve a problem that the game did not make clear on how to resolve it. And I got really wrapped up trying to figure it out, and then realized that it had been almost 50 minutes. And I was like, oh, poop. Sorry, Ollie, you're going to have to watch that one in 37 parts. I tried. The video immediately following that one's 20 minutes, though, so it's a trade-off. That is what it is. I'm so sorry. Normally, Chicken would be streaming on Mondays tomorrow, but I don't know if we will be able to do that, because it's supposed to be really wintry for us. Where we live, we generally don't get a whole lot of real cold, but when we do, for some reason, the internet's I'm also cold, and I'm just not gonna work.
Yeah, the lines, there's just something usually wrong, and it's supposed to be super rainy tomorrow, too, so it's gonna be rainy and cold, and sometimes our internet just does not like to work. I've streamed on days like that, and I have just watched my frames drop all the time, so it's
we got that southern internet. If it's not above 70 degrees, you ain't getting nothing.
If it's below freezing, you best believe it's not.
If it's below freezing, that's a whole new problem. The internet's absolutely not. You better struggle to read things on Reddit, because you're definitely not watching YouTube videos or anything, much less streaming out. You just hang that up, unless you want to go put a scarf on the line to go straight to the box. Go put some heaters up.
Whole noodle looking installation things, and just
yeah.
The whole room.
Yeah, but we can't run that all the way from here to wherever Xfinity plugs in at. Stupid Xfinity. I hate you. So, I don't think there will be a stream for you tomorrow, Chicken. But if there is, what's your Twitch site?
Twitch.tv/EliteChicken313.
Yeah. So, you could go there now and click the follow button if you haven't done so yet. That way you can get a notification when he does go live. I mean, that's always a thing. Or you could join our Discord, which is linked down below this YouTube video and probably in all of the descriptions for wherever you're listening to this at if you're listening to an audio version. I try to put it in, but I don't know how the description stuff works on Spotify and stuff. So, I don't know what happens there. I'm not really sure. But if you need us, you can go to Twitter. We have it linked there too. We're at Infinite Res PC on Twitter. Our YouTube has the link for it as well. So you can hit us up and join Chicken's Discord and know what we're doing all of the time. Weird stalker.
All the time.
All the time.
Bring the stalkers. I am famous. I do have to deal with them regularly.
You weirdo. Oh man, if Baka posts pictures of his minis and stuff on his Twitter and his Instagram, which is at Baka Pickle.
Baka Pickles.
Yeah. And I'm on Twitter at Grif Slidem. And Chicken's on Twitter at, I'm pretty sure it's the same as
Chicken 313.
Yeah, same as your. I was like, I'm pretty sure, but then I questioned it and I had to stop. The thing is, if you're watching this on YouTube, our @ handles are all right under our names anyway. So just look at the video for a second. You can find us on Twitter. But I guess that's it. You guys ready to get out of here and go troubleshoot some more with ARK?
Yeah, let me go fuck around on some more ARK and see what I can do. Baka, you're gonna have to sit in that chair and refresh the server, and then the moment it works, you're gonna be like, it works, and I'm gonna high five myself.
I'll be here. You can high five me, jerk.
No, myself.
I helped. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out, and we will see you next week. Bye.